Bruce Arians steps down, no longer the head coach for the Bucs. Todd Bowles is in there. And I guess this makes Brady look a little less of a dick to the 3% of people who think that he didn't push Bruce Arians out, but he did. I think my first thought is, oh my God, this was great for the league. I mean, if a month ago they said, how do we get Tom Brady back for 1 year? And how do we get a person of color in the head coaching ranks? And it all came together. It was the same damn thing. And now Arians is out and Todd Bowles is in. And the league is like, well, we were going to have trouble with this Arians guy anyway, right? He was pushing players, and it was just a matter of time before something stupid came out. So let's give him a front office job. Good job. And my God, this is it just seems like everything works out for the NFL eventually. Am I looking at it the wrong way, Martin? I don't know.
I think that if Tom Brady didn't want to play for Bruce Arians, why are we not just finding out about it now, but like the idea of him pushing him out? Why didn't this happen? It could have happened at any point in time before now, right? Like,
this is the cleanest though, right?
Well, and I think it's a bigger thing. Like, all right, whether or not Tom Brady pushed Bruce Arians out or not, I think it just feels weird to me. Like, he retires, and then Arians is talking about how he was might hang him up, and then he's talking about, no, I'm not going to hang him up, and then Tom Brady comes back, and I'm excited Tom Brady's back, and then it's like, no, I'm actually going to go upstairs. Like, the only real strategy of all of this that made sense to me, and whether or not Tom Brady pushed him out or not, it doesn't really affect this part of it, but not putting this job on the market until after March 31st, after the league meetings where they go and take all the league pictures.
That's why it's allowed, they say.
That's why it's allowed. Like, that, to me, it gives me the feeling of Bo Ryan did this in Wisconsin a few years ago when he was stepping down. He wanted Greg Gard to be the head coach. Wisconsin wasn't going to do it. So he retired like a week before the season. And he's like, so now what? Now do something now. Well, now what are you going to do? And I don't know if it was necessarily as acrimonious with Bruce Arians, and I know the Buccaneers this is their fourth black head coach. But in this league, black head coaches don't get a second chance, right? Like, after they lose and after they don't succeed. Mm-hmm. I really feel like the only way that Todd Bowles is going to get this job is in some type of finesse of this matter. And if Tom Brady retiring, or if Tom Brady was pushing Bruce Arians out, the idea that, like, Tom Brady either bless Todd Bowles, the idea that he's going to coach this defense, and me and Byron Leftwich are just going to do this offense anyway, which is, I mean, ostensibly that's been the path for success in Pittsburgh the last, however many years. Like, Tomlin wasn't running the offenses. You know, it was kind of like, that was the idea. Like,
yeah, a bunch of teams are, yeah.
Right, a bunch of teams work.
Peyton, right, obviously never dealt with. Right.
Exactly. Right. So it's like, you're never going to see that. So I just think that, I don't want to say it's the bigger story, but, like, whether or not, I mean, it makes sense but Brady's at his post game. I'm not his post game. Brady's at his conference right now. I was seeing tweets about it. Brady, like, they've always been very deferential to each other. When Tom Brady don't like somebody, we know about it. Like, he didn't apologize. Like, he didn't nothing to the Patriots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why Tom Brady's being so magnanimous or, tweeting all this, Bruce, I'll always love you.
He's smarter than everybody.
Because he likes to have his cake and eat it too, and gets it. Because people allow him. I mean, he'd be a great money launderer. He'd be a great front man for it because he always comes out clean on the other side of it. He clearly, on some level, it may not have been the only factor, but he clearly pushed the indignity of pushing a guy out who won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and he has to kind of eat it because what are you really, what you're like, we can fire you, Bruce, because we want Brady more than we want you. So now he's kicked to, what is he, a consultant or whatever that is? It does, to your point, though, it doesn't just work out for Brady.
He's a phone screener in Detroit. No, I agree with both of you. I just want to know, don't you want to know the conversation, when it happened? Did it happen a month ago? Did it happen 6 weeks ago? I think Brady wanted to get traded. And they're like, no way. We're not putting you up, and whatever we would ask, nobody would reciprocate. They're like, all right, next best option. Old man, you're out. I won you a Super Bowl. This is,
and Bruce like, well, we can't help you there, pal, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, we wish we could. Like, hey, Bruce, maybe sit this one out.
Yeah.
We do want the GOAT ultimately.
And was the league in on it too? I wonder. Like
I don't know, but I will also
they
say
get the black head coach. Like it's so clean.
Let me provide a little bit of pessimism for the future here. Is that definitely good? Byron Leftwich is definitely cool with this. If I would have told you 8 months ago Byron Leftwich still won't be an NFL coach, a head coach yet, people would have been like, "Huh." Given the Rooney Rule and everything else,
I wouldn't have.
You would have. Really, you didn't think Byron Leftwich was ticketed? Because they always hire.
So was Eric Bieniemy was
successful
ticketed.
teams.
But it's like Eric Bieniemy was ticketed the same way, and like he won the Super Bowl before that. And then I went and looked at it I went on Wikipedia because the Bucs have the most black coaches in the league. They have 11 black coaches, and all 3 coordinators, special teams, offense, defense, were black. There's only, and I was on Wikipedia, so it may not be 100%. But if you look at the 2020 Tampa Bay coaching staff, the one that won the Super Bowl in 2021, the only difference is Antoine Randall L left from being an offensive assistant to go being the wide receivers coach in Detroit. And then if you look at Kansas City, offensively, they don't have the same brain drain that you would normally see out of successful teams. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that I think that, like, logically that would make sense, but I think the evidence shows that, like, nah, you better off being the defensive coordinator for the Rams and not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's interesting, though, what Sal gets at. I hadn't considered that. Brady probably does start this process with like, hey, I do want to play football.
Yeah.
That's the good news. Bad news is I don't want to play in Tampa anymore. And that's what.
Yeah, I mean, to Martin's point, how did they keep all that secret if my scenario is what really went down and who was involved? But it is.
I don't know. We didn't hear Russell Wilson was going to Denver until he went to Denver. We didn't know Odell was going to the Rams until he actually went to. It's
weird how something.
And all these things, just like the breaking news industry that we obsess over and follow. Oh, what did Schefter say about all this? They very rarely tip anything's about to happen. Why? Because they don't know it any more than anybody else does.
Well, it's funny. I'm on a text chain with like Todd Furman and Clay Travis, and like, oh, he's definitely gone now. Brady's gone now. He's going to San Francisco, and Clay's like, no, he's going to Miami. He's like, what are you talking about? He got what he wanted here. This is what he did. He did this. Why is he going to get traded now? Why? I think the trade was asked for. They didn't go along with it, and now this is where we are. Mm-hmm. I don't see him going to Miami at all. I don't have an offensive line for him, right?
I mean, you want to hear the guy who wants to present as clean and beloved, and rightly is largely beloved by his teammates and otherwise Tom Brady. Do you think that he recruits guys? Hey, come back. Let's do it again in 2022, and then punts? No way. He doesn't spend the last 3 or 4 weeks getting guys to re-sign there so he can ditch. He wouldn't do that because those guys would be like, "Hey, he stinks. He made me come here, and now I'm stuck here and with to play with Kyle Trask."
Right. Okay, but we could agree that those who are saying, no, Brady had nothing to do with this are the same people who are saying, I think that Will Smith, Chris Rock thing is a work. I don't think it's real. Like, it's on the same level conspiracy right now. Overtime rule change, I like it. I think they should do it for every overtime, not just the playoffs. So everybody gets the ball. If one team scores a touchdown, second team scores a touchdown.
I'm sorry, Sal. I just had this one last thought that just hit me. Because I just thought about this. Mm-hmm. Todd Bowles was never, ever, ever going to get another head coaching job in the NFL. Like, if you, like, he went on a Super Bowl run in which he beat Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and then the guy who everybody says is the second coming, Patrick Mahomes. Then he goes again and eventually loses to the Super Bowl champions on like the play that minted Matt Stafford to Dave's Hall of Fame, right? Mm-hmm. And so then, like,
and the real one, too.
Dan Quinn blew his, he failed in Atlanta, had a above average defense for the first 11, 12 weeks of the season, and was like the hottest. Now he's back in Dallas, but it cost Dallas a lot of money to keep him, right? And like, Todd Bowles was never getting another look. This was the only way it was going to happen. And like, it's not going to be reported like this next offseason. Everybody's going to say, like, we have, 6 black coaches? But I think you got to, like, if Bruce Arians hadn't stacked his coaching staff with, it just wouldn't have gone out like this. It wouldn't have happened.
Let me ask you this. Can Tom Brady, we see how much power he has for this one team. Can he do it for all 32 teams? Can he put a black head coach in place for all 32 teams just with this manipulation?
But it is going to be interesting to see if this team is successful, they should win the NFC South. They should make the playoffs and make noise. If you're in the dance, you can at least make noise. It'll be interesting to see how the credit is how the credit pie is cut up and served.
Right.
Yeah, well, between Arians and Willis, big week for Bruce's.
Oh, geez.
Sad news.
Yeah, that's bad.
And also, too, maybe Bruce Arians didn't want to retire, but he is 70 years old with a popped Achilles.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
He is recovering from Achilles. Like, he may not be fit to.
Villanova's going to miss him.
Realized it on St. Patrick's Day.
But to the point of overtime.
I gotta put. I love my bourbon. I'm gonna have to put it away for another year though. Like
But to
this or a toe.